Streamed.
Okay, so it's telling me redirecting to the live stream page. So I'm assuming those on YouTube and Facebook can hear us, maybe on Rumble, because it's giving me a diagnostic saying it's not going, but we're going to continue anyway.
Where'd you get it?
So welcome to the Awakening podcast, and we're live. We're live on YouTube, we're live on Facebook, maybe on Rumble, not sure because I can't check it. I want to stay in the conversation, but I'm here with Arnold for another perspective. And before we tell you what we're going to discuss this week, there's a lovely picture for those watching on video.
Yeah, I tried to describe the picture, which is a father and a son looking over the farmland, and the father is saying to the son, one day, son, this farmland will be yours to sell to a tech company building a data center. That is kind of ironic because this is happening as we speak and is happening everywhere. And a data center obviously uses much more electricity than a farmer does. And in most, I know, Western European countries, electricity is very hard to come by. There's a waiting list and whatever. But somehow these tech companies building data centers, they don't come on the waiting list. And these data centers are huge consumers of electricity, and that's what's happening. And the farmers are not making any money because their margins are absolutely lousy. So they're happy to sell. But it means, where does our food come from if there are no farmers anymore? A few weeks ago, I shared that only in the UK, 6,000 farmers were gone. So it's like, that brings us to the dystopia of like, we got to eat insects and everything else. And that's where they're moving towards. And it's not good that these farmlands are disappearing. So that's why I shared this picture for introduction today.
So news, Trump and Putin, that was in Alaska. Europe is rising. Roblox bringing a dating app or feature into a child's game, and human brains are connected. Artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, linked to Psychotic Breaks, the UK's first AI-powered smart care home system, and de-skilling. Good News Caravan, Sidewalk Joy, award-winning filmmaker joins life-saving mission, saving dying ponds, and record $2 billion to US university for their cancer center. In health, dangerous substances in your body, vegetable compound that wipes out 90% of cavity-causing plaque, and sunburn myth. Inspiration, Kokoro, hijacking Bitcoin, and kindness is free. So you can help the show. We put a lot of time. We've mentioned it weekly, but we actually, it's more than a day each. I mean, when you look at all the stuff that's doing between editing and sharing it everywhere, but we've also a lot of costs between streaming services, calendar services, lots of different things. And there's ways that you can help. You can actually buy me a coffee or orange juice for Arnold. He doesn't drink a coffee. So, and there's different ways of doing it. There's PayPal, there's Ko-fi. You scan the QR code, and it just helps us to do this because we're putting so much energy into this. We're in a lot of groups. We have to decipher what's right and what's wrong. Lots of things this week I went in and I was like, oh, that's interesting. and I found out they weren't true. And unfortunately, people are just sharing stuff. And that's not saying that we mightn't get it right sometimes, but we'll be the first to put our hand up and say, hey, we were duped. But we have to research a lot to try to make sure we're getting you the right information. So you can go to awakeningpodcast.org/support, or if you're watching on video, just take a picture, scan the QR code, and a $5 donation monthly would greatly be appreciated.
Yeah, going to the Trump-Putin thing, we discussed, I think already on Tuesday or last week, is like, oh, we're gonna put that as the major item on the list to discuss today. But then the outcome was not, well, something to be excited about, let me put it like that. But I said, no, I still want to discuss it because there are some weird things. And the main weird thing here you see a picture, and normally I put this picture in because normally you don't see the translators. So I assume that one speaks English and the other one Russian, and there are these translators, which I think is a very, very challenging job in itself. But I didn't want to talk about the translation. I want to talk about, because everybody's talking about is like, is there going to be a ceasefire? Is there going to be peace between Russia and Ukraine? And now people are disappointed because, well, at least immediately it's not going to happen. But that's weird. It's weird. Why is it weird? Because there's a war between Russia and the Ukraine. So if you want to get peace, at least you should have Russia and the Ukraine involved. So where's the Ukraine? And if you have a dialogue between two parties who are at war with each other, you normally have an independent, neutral outsider facilitating the meeting. That's happening in the past, where they had people from like Norway or Switzerland or Qatar. They say, hey, we hold this conference and we facilitate this meeting between the fighting parties. Or in this case, if the US wants to be involved, well, number one, you should have Ukraine involved, but why not also invite China? Because those are, well, I consider the two world powers are China and the US. But that's not the case. But nobody's talking about this. So, and my question to you is why? Why is nobody talking about it? Or why is nobody using their common sense? Or maybe I say something stupid, but please let me know. But it's like, it's really crazy. It's weird. Huh? And that's why there are no, well, I think that is why there are no results, because Trump, although he thinks he's the master of the world, he cannot make decisions for Ukraine. Although he thinks he can, but he can't. So anyway, that is what I wanted to share about the Trump-Putin meeting. Anything you would like to add?
Yeah, well, I totally agree with you. It's strange that he wasn't there. But if you look at, they're selling all the armaments, they're bringing all the armaments to Ukraine, America. So that means they're in
They're not
really,
independent.
yeah, they're at war with him. If you're giving him a gun to shoot me, you're my enemy, And then they have BlackRock coming in, so the contract to rebuild it, and it's not as if it's here's a donation. It's like there's clauses attached. So this to me looked like let's decide how we're going to break up the Ukraine and who's getting what. And yeah, there was no real outcome. And the one thing that I think is pathetic, and you see it all the time, it's all a power struggle. It's like they shake the hands and one guy is pulling the other guy over and then he's tapping on. That's all pathetic. It's like someone thinks that they're more powerful than you because I've done a certain maneuver in a handshake. That's going on all the time. When I see that, I think you're pathetic. If you think you can squeeze me or pull me towards me or just tap me as if like good little boy, which they do, it's pathetic. And I think how people think that's showing your strength, that's showing your weakness when you have to do things like that.
Absolutely. And yeah, well, so this is clearly a story to be continued.
Exactly.
So what is happening in Europe? I've been keeping you guys informed, and there are things, well, I don't know. I wouldn't label them positive or negative. I don't know. But what's happening now is there has been, to the left, you see Marine Le Pen, who is, I think she is under home arrest at the moment. So this picture seeing her is not correct because I think she's not allowed to leave a room. But there were a polling happening in France about her party, which is called the RN party, is now 18% ahead of Macron's party. 18. So although she is under home arrest or whatever, clearly the French citizens are in favor of her. And that's not only happening in France, it is already in Italy with Giorgia Meloni in power, in Hungary with Viktor Orban, in Poland, you mentioned it before, with Karol Nawrocki. Actually, I saw a video this week where he's the new elected president, and he entered a football stadium, and the whole stadium started to cheer. Well, I can tell you that won't happen in the Netherlands. So there's something happening. There is still in Romania where Josh Simeon and the other guy, they didn't win the election, but they're extremely popular. So it's clear that people want sovereignty. They want sovereignty about their own countries, and they reject the globalist control. Well, it might be a good sign that the tide is turning, that people are like, hey, we don't want to be clones of the EU. We are in favor of our own people and our own countries. So there is something shifting.
Definitely. Yeah. Same in the UK as well. A lot of people are kind of standing up to it, and they're realizing, and even on because I wasn't going to cover this, but I'll just mention it since you're talking about that. But on the sovereignty, I just saw it the other day, and I was listening to the show because they mentioned she's been on a podcast, but somebody went in and they said in the court, I'm the living soul woman. And she got the judge to acknowledge that. And apparently the judge afterwards hugged her and was delighted that she did this and acknowledged it. So the case got chucked out. And that's something that I'm covering a lot on the show with sovereignty and things like that. And that kind of thing will make a massive shift as well. So I'll try to cover that next week in more detail because it wasn't released. It's only new information. It was only last night that I saw that. So I was trying to find it. So it hasn't been released, but it's a very good, interesting one. So Roblox. This is an interesting one, traditionally known as a gaming platform popular with kids and teens, is actively working to expand its appeal to adults. The company's CEO, David Baszucki, has publicly stated multiple times that he envisions Roblox as a place where adults can meet and even date in the metaverse. The announcement that dating will soon be possible in the metaverse, but only for users who are 21 or older and have completed ID verification. This is part of a broader push to make the platform for socializing and relationships among adults, not just gaming for younger audiences. The dating features are expected to be age-gated, meaning only verified adults will have access. The idea is to allow users to go on virtual dates and potentially form real-life relationships, all within a safe, controlled environment. There's under 13s, 38%, 13 to 17s, 33%. This is something that's scary, and you want to make sure if your children is on this, because there's a lot of pedos out there and they go to things like that. People can hack the age verification. There's people, they know how to manipulate children and everything. And if they're bringing this into this game, you don't just let your child have his device and go on the computer and do what they want. I would take them off it. This is dangerous, very dangerous.
This absolutely links to something which I'm going to mention under the AI topic, but I would like to add that Meta, which is the parent company of Facebook, in their something like the ethic rules, have confirmed for them in their AI chatbots that it's okay to have sensual conversations with children. And there was something else about it, but they thought it's like that's okay. Yeah, so they are now confirming that these chatbots are having huge impact on any relationship. And well, the younger you are, the more vulnerable you are. But the meta guys say that's okay. Yeah. So all the more this conforms with, well, this is even for a younger audience, but the same is true for Facebook and everything else. It's like, well, the main message is don't let anyone, not only your children, totally go wild on these applications where they become addicted to, because it's extremely dangerous.
And the thing is with these PlayStations as well, I remember my son had got one that it was a present that was bought from, and we were there at Christmas. He brought the device to our house, and next somebody started talking on the device. And I was like, what's going on here? People can talk on these devices, but he at that stage didn't even know how to do it. That's how dangerous these things are. And there's people, they're pretending they're kids and they're talking away and they're pretending they're friends. They can even have voice changers to make them sound like a kid. It is very dangerous. And please don't just let your kid do their thing. You do your thing. Watch everything they're at. Check it. See who's writing to them. See who they're hanging around with. Because it's very easy that they can be manipulated at that age.
Absolutely. And there's even one news which kind of confirms that, is that, well, something we might already have known, we don't know, but human brains are connected. Princeton researchers, Princeton is one of the top universities in the US, found that human brains emit ultra low frequency electromagnetic waves that form a coherent global neural network. And the Earth has the same low frequency pulse in the Schumann resonance. You know, there is I forget the number, but there's a certain number in which the Earth resonates, but that has been going lower. That is a problem because it like the frequency is going lower. But what they find is that these endogenous signals, which apparently come out of our brain, can influence other brains up to 10,000 kilometers away, suggesting human consciousness is interconnected across the vast distances using quantum mechanisms or molecular resonances. It's clear we don't know how it works, but they find is that, well, we're all energy and we're emitting at a certain frequency, at a certain low frequency, but that connects with all people. And I'm saying that is why if people are in groups, you know, whether when they're at a football match in the stadium or when an imam is preaching or a priest is preaching in a church, with all of them, is like you apparently emit the same energy, and that connects you with the other, and that makes you kind of feel stronger. You know? So it has a huge impact. Again, it's like, what energy am I emitting? Because it's not only impacting me, it's impacting everybody else across 10,000 kilometers. Yeah, so we have to be very careful about what we think, what we act, what we do, because by doing so, we also influence other people.
I've known this for years because even here, I think about my mum and she'd do the same thing. We both tried to ring each other at the same time. It's happened so many times. And few people, things like that, you just think of someone and out of the blue, then they're ringing you or they're writing to you. So you're basically, without you even realizing it, you're putting out a signal. So I've experienced that for years. AI.
ChatGPT linked to psychotic breaks. But before we go there, I want to talk to you about brain fitness. It's been clear for people who are following our show for the last months or even year, is that it's really, really crucial. And Roy just shared the example of Roblox, that we have to keep our brain fit. And not only our brain, but also the brain of our children and of our loved ones and everybody else. Because otherwise, we're very, very negatively being influenced, as a negative influence on our health. In the next thing, I will mention that. But what we do with brain fitness is just like with body fitness, is like you continuously have to work on both fitnesses to keep yourself being able to function in this very challenging society. So what we do with Brain Gym, we offer you masterclasses that are videos around specific topics like your uniqueness, relationship, building habits. We have a training program to help you from fitting in to flying out. And a new book has just been released about the adventures of a doctor called Alfred Moore, who is changing from a very traditional role in a hospital to being a social entrepreneur. And we hope that that is a good example for you and your work and your life as well.
For those that were watching, all you have to do is scan the QR code or go to braingym.fitness.
So ChatGPT has been linked to psychotic breaks in heavy users. It's now been confirmed what I've been saying for weeks. And I get responses from people like, Arnold, you're negative about AI. No, I'm not negative AI. It's got good things, which are very helpful, but it also has a dark side, and people want to ignore the dark side or not address it like it's not there. And that is was the topic of last week. We share missing information with you. This has been missing. Is like we do, like the AI is better than sliced bread. It's everything is gonna do everything. Yes, true. It can help with a lot of things, but it can also ruin your brain, and even further going into psychotic breaks, because multiple reports have emerged linking extended ChatGPT use to serious psychological crisis among users, which with cases documented of individuals developing delusions, paranoia, and experiencing psychotic breaks that led to involuntary psychiatric commitments and job losses. This phenomenon, called ChatGPT psychosis, has gained significant attention after a Danish psychiatrist in 2023 warned about this. Well, it's like all these things, when you warn, people don't listen. But the doctor, his name is Søren Dinesen Ostergaard, predicted that AI chatbots, and that's what we were just discussing under the Roblox topic and everything else, and the games what Rush said, is that AI chatbots could trigger psychosis in vulnerable individuals, particularly when the bots validated far-fetched ideas. In August 2025, which is now, he noted that traffic to his original article, which he said 2 years ago, jumped from 100 to over 1,300 monthly views between May and June, coinciding with increased news coverage of real-world cases. This is really happening. And this is not just me or us saying this. No, this is a doctor who's done research, everything around it. Then he sees people. It's like, these things are happening all the time. So, and think about what I just said about the meta, they achieved I think, ethicist officer saying it's fine that a chatbot shares sensual information with your children.
I wonder, does Zuckerberg allow his children to talk to adults? You can be sure not.
Absolutely. Which, by the way, I also read this morning, Zuckerberg, the cost of his security has been last year $27 million. So why, if you're a good guy, do you need security for the amount of $27 million? I think that can only be because you're a bad guy. It's not because you're a good guy. It's you have security, Roy?
I have a lock on the door.
Yeah, yeah, me too. Yes, so I this morning, and you go out for your walk. I walk alone. There's not a team of people walking around me. It's like all these things confirm is that, let me put it like this, they don't have your best interest at heart, and not of your children, and not of you. And be very, very careful, because there are people who even ask ChatGPT what they should eat for dinner tonight, or where they is like, oh, it's a Sunday, I don't know what to do. Let's ask ChatGPT. It's like we lose everything. That's what I keep on saying this. If you don't use it, you lose it. And if you use these things too much, you become addicted. You will get into psychosis. It's called the ChatGPT psychosis. I didn't make this up. This is scientifically proven. So be very, very careful in using these things.
Arnold mentioned there's good things and bad things, and I bring a bit of light to the conversation. There's some Aston University and Mount Healthcare are developing the UK's first AI-powered smart care home system. This initiative aims to modernise residential care by automating administrative tasks, enabling real-time health monitoring, and creating personalised care plans using artificial intelligence and machine learning. The project is funded by Innovate UK and led by experts from Ashton Centre for Artificial Intelligence Research and Application. The key features: automation and routine tasks, reduces paperwork and administrative burden, allowing staff to focus more on the residents, which is a good thing. Real-time health monitoring continuously tracks residents' health metrics for early detection of issues and timely interventions. Personalised care plans using data from health records and personal preferences to tailor care for each resident, and family engagement provides real-time updates to families, improving transparency and trust, and operational efficiency streamlines compliance reporting and optimize staff scheduling, reducing costs and improving job satisfaction. So that's one where it's actually very beneficial, because especially for the elderly, and sometimes spotting something early can be the difference of someone having a stroke and it be rectified and having long-term damage or even possible death. So this is a very good thing as well when it's used properly.
Well, that reminds me, a few years ago, I had a startup where we were building a care robot called Cabo, which would enable conversation with the elderly, because I saw my mother just sitting in her house by herself and nobody to talk to, and the health providers and family not knowing what's going on. So we had this robot, but this is taking it much, much further, but it's really needed. It's really necessary, because in many countries, even, there is no place for the elderly to go to. And most likely their partner has died. There is also some challenges. So it's like these old people are just, they cannot longer go to residential areas where they would take care of them, because they're all closed. So they're just sitting at home. So if these things monitor what's happening and can signal that things need to be done, that's really crucial. I've been saying, and I keep saying it, if you don't use it, you lose it. And here's a groundbreaking study published in The Lancet. The Lancet is one of the most prestigious medicine journals. It's very, very prestigious. And it has provided the first clinical evidence that the regular use of AI can cause healthcare professionals to lose essential skills, raising urgent questions about the widespread adoption of AI. The research conducted by Dr. Marcin Ramanicik from the Academy of Silesia in Poland and colleagues examined 1,442 colonoscopies performed by experienced guys of 4 Polish medical centers between 2021 and 22, and the study compared the doctors' performance before and after the introduction of AI-assisted polyp detection system, revealing a concerning trend that researchers termed de-skilling. This is optima forma. If you don't use it, you lose it. So the doctors were not doing this, well, where you see this picture where this guy is doing something himself. If you stop doing that, you lose that skill. So it's not like, oh, this is not happening to me or whatever. No, this is proven. It's in 4 medical centers in Poland. It's like, this is not like, Arnold, that's what you say. No, this is research which proves that it happens. I'm going to repeat myself very shortly. When I was at high school, I had 6 years of German. I was totally fluent after 6 years. I could speak it. I could write it. I could translate everything. Yes, for me, it wasn't like Dutch, but it's very simple. Now that's mostly gone because I don't use it. That happens to all of us, and even to these doctors after just a few years and very recently. So this is very, very worrisome. So it's happening everywhere. And that's why you need to keep on using this. And I didn't know the term de-skilling, but well, I like it. I like the term because it's a very good term, because that's happening. I've been sharing like this happening with your reading skills, with your writing skills, with everything. So there's a large scale de-skilling going on at every level. I think it will impact lawyers and everybody. So I say, folks, don't do it. Use this stuff occasionally or maybe to check your own work, but do your first analysis yourself and then see where the system comes up. So you still are like, no, yeah. I just mentioned I published a new book. Everything I wrote myself. Nothing was written by AI. And I'm pretty sure if I didn't do that, I will use my capability totally. So please keep on using your skills. And it doesn't matter what type of skill, whether you're a doctor, a writer, a lawyer, a student, keep on using those skills.
Like we go to school at 4 in Ireland, and I was in school until 17 with Irish. Forget it all. All I remember is the prayers. We had to stand up and say a prayer. I remember that off by heart. But even my son, he's interested and he wants to know some words and stuff like that. And a lot of the time he'll ask me something simple and I can't remember it. And we've kind of touched on it a good while back, but even on phones and stuff like that. There was a time when I was working that was around 94 or something like that. I was working for a construction company. I had a phone book and I remembered all the numbers. I didn't even have to open it. I could do them all. Now I know maybe 2 or 3 numbers. I can't. Everything is on the phone. Same with the GPS. You just put in the address, and then if the charger doesn't work or something like that, then you're trying to go out. We just start using these tools, and the AI is scary because that's a massive level from that. So be very cautious. So what Arnold just said, heed his warning.
But like you used from us, we still have some good news. And we start with the site. Before we start with the Sidewalk Joy, we have a word from VA World.
Yeah, so if you're looking for virtual assistants, you can scan the QR code or go to va.world, and we can help with social media, email marketing, web pages. Like we're going to create a lot of videos on different web pages and at very affordable prices with a lot of different things. So be sure to check it out, va.world.
So Sidewalk Joy, what is that? It's an initiative in the city of Portland in Oregon in the US. Portland is I would say, a very modern, advanced society, very social, there's a lot of things happening. Here you see a picture where there is a lady showing a Dino exchange, but it's transforming neighborhoods into outdoor galleries, because this lady is clearly standing in her garden, where they in these outdoor galleries are filled with mini libraries, so sharing books, trinket swaps, and art displays inspired by a sense of community. So artist Rachel Harms Maland turned her yard into a whimsical playground of installations, from toy dinosaur exchanges to pollinator seed libraries, as a way to spark joy and connection. So with an ever-growing Sidewalk Joy map across the city, so you can look where these things are in. Portland is a pretty big city. Anyone can embark on an adventure through over 130 quirky spots, including hand-cranked music boxes and a wishing tree adorned with heartfelt notes in 2013. So it's really easy for us to picture physical destruction. It's hard for us to picture intangible worlds, points out. But the map of sidewalk creativity has gone global, and it encourages others to create playful expressions of sharing the human spirit in their communities. So I think this is a lovely experience where you make neighborhoods more lively, more open, more sharing. And if you ever walk and you meet them, you can talk with people, you can connect with people, and I think that is really extremely important. Yeah? So instead of using your phone and sending a couple of emoticons, talk with this lady about your passion for dinosaurs. Yeah?
I
A
think
beautiful
a child, your children will be delighted to go out and look at something like that. And when you're doing that, they're not on their devices. And it's very important.
Absolutely.
Al Churchill is an award-winning filmmaker and videographer based in Gloucester, UK. He's partnered with Donate for Defib to help share real stories of lives saved by defibrillators. The collaboration aims to use the power of film and storytelling to highlight the life-saving impact of defibrillators and to inspire communities to support wider access to these devices. The project involves capturing and sharing personal stories from individuals and families whose lives have been directly affected by the availability of the defibrillators, underlying the tangible benefits of having these devices accessible in public spaces. Then Donate for Defib is a community-driven initiative in Weston-super-Mare, UK. So that's where I got the graphic from. So those that are interested, they can see the website and just scan the QR code. Dedicated to increasing the number of publicly accessible defibrillators in the area. Their mission is to ensure that no one in the Weston-super-Mare is more than a 3-minute walk from a life-saving defibrillator. The organization is known for its personal, legacy-focused approach, often installing defibrillators in memory of loved ones and recognizing the contributions of local heroes. They also run public awareness campaigns and provide community training to empower people to act confidently in emergencies. Immediately, defibrillators save lives. If a cardiac arrest victim is defibrillated within the first 3 minutes, their chance of survival is high as 70%. If a shock is delivered in the first minute, 9 out of 10 victims survive. Public access defibrillator programs double survival rates in communities where they are available and used before emergency services arrive. Survival rates can reach up to 38% compared to 9% with CPR alone. And then how can people help? I mean, people can donate, or they can kind of put one in memory of somebody that they've lost. And I don't think this is just for the UK. I think this is an international thing. I think it's a great thing. And Like, I don't know how to use one, and I think I think the schools, they should go in and teach the children how to use them. I think everybody should have to learn how to do that, because you just say, hey, you never know. But wouldn't you love to know? And if something happens, that you're the one that's saving someone's life. So I just think it's a nice cause that they're doing.
Absolutely. And it's a few years ago, I can recall that I was in a taxi and I don't know, somehow a taxi invites people to share their stories. And there was the driver, he was mentioning how he had a heart attack in front of an office or something like that. And that office had this defibrillator, and he said if it hadn't had it, it would have been dead. So it is happening. And I want to make the connection with I mentioned last week, what's happening in Japan, and it's not only in Japan, it's all over the world, where more and more young people are getting these heart attacks and problems. So, like you said, within reach of 3 minutes, these things should be there. It's because of the jabs that people get these heart attacks. So it's really, really important that they are there because, like you said, if it takes half an hour, then you're gone. So it's really, really crucial to have these things at hand. So excellent initiative. Just like this, and you think, well, it doesn't sound so sexy as a defibrillator, but this man you see in his red burgundy shirt, he is saving dying ponds in India, in the area of New Delhi, which is the capital. His name is Ramveer Tanwar. He used to be an engineer from Uttar Pradesh, that's a state in India, and he has taken a significant step toward environmental conservation by reviving over 80 ponds in the Delhi region. 80, he has already revived them, and that he does so by leveraging community involvement to restore dying wetlands, thereby improving groundwater levels, global biodiversity, and cultural practices. His model emphasizes community participation, just like with the sidewalk thing and with the defibrillator thing, over technical intervention, fostering a collective sense of responsibility. With strategic techniques such as manual waste removal, that's what you see happening there, and ecological filtration, Tanwar has managed to restore mightily 40 ponds in the Delhi area. And this grassroots approach has garnered attention from government and corporate entities, including being named a Swachh Bharat ambassador. Ultimately, Tanwar's effort demonstrate a replicable model for ecological restoration driven by local communities. I think this is an excellent thing because, well, if you ever been to India, and if you haven't, I was here, it's bloody hot there. So especially out of the rainy season, it's in the Delhi area, it's between 40 and 50 degrees Celsius. And the problem is water. I shared it before. It's like, so that's why maintaining these ponds and getting the water level and, well, getting it in the rainy season that there's water in it and everything is really, really crucial. So another show and no, another example of what we are trying to emphasize in this Good News Caravan today is like, we should take responsibility as a community and act as a community and do things ourselves, because, well, for obvious reason, the government is not doing it. So you have to take things in your own hand. It's your own future and the future of your family and your children. It's like this guy's doing. He quit his job to do this. He didn't get paid for it. It's like totally incredible the work what he's doing. But that's work that you and I could be doing as well. Like Roy just said, it's like, hey, maybe you should follow a training to use a defibrillator. It's like take things in our own hands, take back control. That's what these initiatives are showing.
The thing is, when you get the community involved, it stops people then kind of just dumping and everything and not having respect. They all take pride in it, and they'll watch for the person that doesn't respect it. They'll put them in their place because they know the sweat equity they've put in to make it, and they appreciate what's the benefit from it.
Yeah, that reminds me that there was on Friday. Yeah, on Friday there's in the Dutch football, what Americans call soccer competition. There's a team which is now playing in the highest league, which has been out of the highest league for 41 years. So it's a very new thing. But on Friday, that initiative where they asked volunteers and spectators to clean the stadium. So, yeah, because the stadium hasn't been many spectators, so well, it had become dirty. So people were just going there with buckets and brushes and everything, and they cleaned the stadium. So it's like we can do so much if we well use our hands and our heads and our love for whether it's football or the ponds or deep dinosaurs or the heart people caring with heart problems. We can do it. We can do it ourselves.
You'd actually see that in the Olympics. I think it was Japan. They're all going around with their bags, cleaning up after them, and you see others, they're just dumping the rubbish. And it's like how a culture and a society, how one can be totally different to the others, and they should just learn from it and say, this is how we're doing it, not to accept that, hey, just dump all your stuff and someone else will come along and clean it. It's disgusting when you see it like that.
Absolutely.
So in August, just this month, Phil Knight, the co-founder of Nike, and his wife Penny made headlines by donating a record-breaking $2 billion to the Oregon Health and Science University Knight Cancer Institute. This historic gift is the largest ever given to an American university and is poised to double the size and impact of the Knight Cancer Institute, positioning it at the forefront of global cancer research and patient care. The expansion, the Knight Cancer will double in size and become self-governed entity with its own board of directors. The autonomy is expected to accelerate innovation and allow the institute to pursue its mission with greater agility. I mean, we know about like how, bureaucracy and all that kind of stops a lot of things getting done. So that's a good thing. Enhanced research in patient care. The funds will support cutting-edge research in cancer diagnostics and treatment, expand access to clinical trials, and integrate comprehensive patient support services, including nutritional, psychological, genetic, and financial counseling, as well as survivorship care and complementary therapies. A simplified patient experience. The Institute aims to make the cancer care journey more navigable and supportive, ensuring that every patient receives holistic care tailored to their needs. So, I mean, we see a lot of the people, the billionaires, and we've mentioned one at the start there now, and somebody like this, and it's not the first time he's donated this. Apparently he gave a $500 million before when he said, hey, if you get matching donations, so his $500 million before created $1 billion. So a guy that has the money is putting it to good use. So fair dues to him.
Yeah, and it helps them, I think, also to become independent of the medical establishment, which really doesn't want cancer to be solved because they're making a lot of money out of it. But obviously he cares and he will have his personal reasons, but he cares that it will be solved. Huh? Health. Dangerous substances in your body. We've been talking about this for a while now, and we keep on doing it because a lot of people don't seem to realize it. But now I saw an article which says there's 100% chance that your body is deeply contaminated with dangerous substances. And we think, oh, it's microplastics, but microplastics are just a sliver of the noxious industrial pie making up your second body. There's PFAS, those are permanent chemicals in our blood, FCCs in our stomach, BPAs in our skin, and air pollution in our lungs. A 2021 study on pregnant women by scientists at the UC University of San Francisco found 109 inorganic chemicals present in their bodies, 55 of which had never been detected in a human before, and 42 mystery chemicals which were unknown to the scientific community. So just like cleaning up ponds or your neighborhoods or whatever, all of these things are not like, oh, it's just dirt. No, because, well, examine a plastic bottle which people throw in a pond. It destroys the pond, but it also, because when it starts to fall apart, this stuff gets into the air and you breathe it into your body. You see? And that is true. I shared this picture with all kinds of toxin. This is stuff which gets into our body, whether we know it or not. And this is not doing our body thing. So we have to really be careful what we use, what we exhaust, what we all these things, because it's ruining our health.
So I had an interview this week. It hasn't been gone out yet, but it should be kind of midweek because there's a lot of editing involved. But neuropathic doctor, and we talked about parasite cleanse, heavy metal cleanse, mold cleanse, and even, I can't say the word because we're going live, the poison dart. They have ways of actually helping with that as well. So there is ways of getting this stuff out of your body. So vegetable compound that wipes out 90% of cavity-causing plaque. Plaque forms when bacteria thrive in the sugary, warm environment of the mouth, eroding enamel and leaving the cavities. While regular brushing, flossing, and dental checkups help, they don't completely prevent the plaque buildup. Researchers say that DIM to oral care products could significantly improve dental hygiene and help protect teeth over the long term. Scientists from Ben Gurion University of the Negev, Negev, in collaboration with the researchers in China and Singapore, identified the compound. The molecule says 3.3 diindolylmethane, so DIM is for short, found in certain vegetables, disrupts Streptococcus mutans to primary bacteria behind tooth decay to prevent it from multiplying and sticking to teeth. In lab tests, DIM reduced bacteria biofilms by 90%, offering a promising low toxicity option for boosting the effectiveness of toothpaste and mouthwash. The compound is also known for its anti-carcinogenic properties, making it a doubly appealing candidate for consumer health products. So beyond the cavity, I mean, I mentioned about cancer, but it's saying especially in hormone-related cancers such as breast and prostate cancer, hormone balancing influences estrogen metabolism, which is why it's sometimes marketed for hormone support, and anti-inflammatory and immune modulating effects may help reduce inflammation and support immune function. So what they were just saying is it's probably be in a toothpaste or mouthwash and even chewing gums or lozenges or stuff like that. But another positive thing to be coming out.
Well, you mentioned flossing, and I know you are very active with flossing, but I read an article this morning that they're considering to put the mRNA vaccine in floss. And that is why Mr. Bill Gates is very interested in that company. So that's why I think this molecule is really, really becoming very important. Sunburn. Oh, it's sunny, it's warm. Western Europe, Eastern Europe is warm, and people's like, oh, you should be using sunburn. Yeah, that's what the
Sunscreen, you mean, yeah?
Yeah.
You said sunburn. You mean sunscreen?
Yeah, sunscreen. Yeah, for the sunburn. Yeah, it's like, and there are the cancer institutions and even the Dutch one, but it's all over the world. It's the same in the US. Whatever it is the same. Well, you should avoid the sun, and you should use sunscreen, which has a very high protection, like 50 plus. That's in the news everywhere. Well, a lot of countries would laugh about this, but in a lot of Western Europe, it's 30 degrees Celsius around that. It's like, oh, we got a heat wave. Is it like, yeah, and it's like, oh, you got to use 50 plus sunscreen. It's been proven that a lot of that sunscreen cause cancer by themselves. And what you're missing is that you need the sun to protect yourself against other cancer sources and heart and other cardiac diseases, because you need the sun. You need vitamin D. Your body needs that. It's crazy to block out the sun, because we cannot live without the sun. We need the sun. And like with everything, is like, yeah, okay, if you use it, if the picture where obviously the guy's been sitting in the sun too long, that doesn't help. But it doesn't mean you have to avoid the sun, is that? And that you have to put on 50 plus kind of thing which causes cancer in itself. Don't do it. Give your body, your arms, just the sunlight, because I think that's the essence of how we can live here. So we need sun. So don't avoid it, because that in itself creates cancer.
Years ago, I knew that it was caused, so I never wear it. And the thing is, just be aware of the temperature. Like midday sun is going to scald. So if you're going to be out there, bamming on the beach and stuff like that, you're kind of asking for trouble. But the one thing there is the glasses. I don't think the sunglasses are good for you. I think we need the vitamins that come in. I don't wear sunglasses. And I've mentioned previously, like for the first hour and a half, hour and a half, sunrise, sunset, I eye gaze. I don't wear glasses. I'm 53 in October. And so, people who say, oh, it's dangerous for you and everything, but I don't wear the sunglasses. And I think that's why there's a lot of depression as well. I think we need that to make us lift our spirits.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So some inspiration, and we're starting with a difficult word, Kokoro. Had you heard about it, Roy, or not? Well, I mentioned it to you before.
Well, I'm just surprised that I actually pronounced it properly when I was talking about what we were covering at the start.
Kokoro, well, I don't even know whether I pronounce it correctly. It's a Japanese word. So to the right, this is the way you write it in Japanese. It's a very common use term in Japan, but I'm referring it in case of the book of Beth Campton. It's called Kokoro, Japanese Wisdom for a Life Well Lived. Highly recommend this book. And she has, well, it's got many applications and use, but she has come up with a definition which I would like to share and read for you, because it's really important and really very useful. The Kokoro is the intelligent heart. Coming back to, well, I'm talking from a brain fitness perspective. We have a heart brain. Not a head brain, a heart brain, and a gut brain. We have 3 brains. This is talking about the heart brain. The Kokoro is the intelligent heart, which communicates our innate wisdom and responds to the world in the present moment in the form of felt impulses. It's the source of our innate wisdom, the wisdom we carry deep within, which is untainted by societal pressure, expectation, and other people's opinion. Well, I wish I could have written that myself. It's really beautiful. And I highly recommend read the book. I'm not getting any money from it. Yes, read that book. But also, more importantly, listen to your heart. That's this message. Listen to your heart. And again, we have to practice it, because all of us, including myself, we're very good at suppressing it. And we've been suppressing it for most of our lives, that we don't even know that we have a heart brain, and that our heart is actually all the time trying to give us a message, but we don't hear it because there's so much noise of our head. So it's I'm practicing myself every day to start listening and more listening to my heart. And it works. It really works. I'm really surprised about a lot of things which are happening in my life at the moment around that practice. So I encourage you to start even considering and applying listening to your heart. And this book is really, really very good. It's very nice, which can help you on that trajectory.
And speaking of heart, your book actually on the cover has a heart, and so heart-centered. And for those that, you put the thing up like we know on the website, braingym.fitness, the book, it's less than €5 and it's a very enjoyable read. So we'll be helping with the show as well by just getting that book, and let us know what you think about it. So there it is, hacking Bitcoin. So there's a lot of people talk, because I have the crypto podcast as well, and I tried to simplify it because there's a lot of people, they haven't a clue, and this was just one that I had come across. So imagine you're living in a world where sending money to a friend is as easy as handing them a dollar bill. No banks, no middlemen, no permission needed. That was the dream behind Bitcoin when it was first created by the mysterious Satoshi Nakamoto, a kind of digital cash for everyone everywhere. And it's just interesting. I ask everyone that comes on my crypto podcast who they think believes is Satoshi, and I get 20 different answers. So it just shows, and these are people that are big into the crypto, some of them are millionaires. What if I told you that the dream was hijacked? That's the story Roger Ver tells in his book, Hijacking Bitcoin, the hidden story, the hidden history of BTC. That's the code for it. Bitcoin was created to be a digital cash, fast, cheap, and open to everyone. Roger Ver's Hijacking Bitcoin tells the story of how the vision was derailed. According to Ver, a group of developers and a company called Blockstream changed Bitcoin's direction by keeping its block size small. Think of it like shrinking a highway so only a few cars can pass at a time. This made Bitcoin slow and expensive to use for everyday payments, turning it into a more digital gold and practical currency. And if you look at the Vanguards and the Black Rocks and all this, getting massive amounts of Bitcoin. So Ver's claimed the shift wasn't just technical, it was political. He describes the block size war, where those who want bigger blocks and cheaper fast transactions were silenced on major forums. Posts were deleted, users were banned, and the conversations were tightly controlled. As a result, Bitcoin's original purpose faded, and high fees pushed people towards complicated solutions and custodial wallets where someone else holds your money. And just on that, I have a friend that has a Bitcoin and has a crypto claims business. And I saw the censorship he went through. So, I mean, obviously with a lot of the stuff on the Awakening were censored, but there's a lot on the crypto side of things, blockchain as well. Frustrated Ver and others launched Bitcoin Cash in 2017, a version of Bitcoin with bigger blocks aimed to retrieve the dream of peer-to-peer digital cash. With the split left Bitcoin as the dominant brand, even though in Ver's it abandoned Satoshi's intent. And just one of the things that he said, he urges us to support cryptocurrencies that stay true to the vision of decentralization, peer-to-peer cash. In his words, the dream of financial freedom is too important to let it slip away. And what I say, because a lot of times people, they don't really understand it. So the crypto podcast is, I cover a lot of stuff on that. I bring on guests and I try to simplify it. And what I would just say is start researching it. And for me, and I've said it to a few of them, the only way I can see this working, because it's all connected to fiat. So the boys with the printing press can go away and buy as much Bitcoin as they want. They can go away and buy as much Ethereum or anything else. That's not going to help anyone. The only way that it works is if there's a system created that we all get a certain amount, and that's just traded between us. And I think that's possible. So what I would say is, I think there can be massive change in this, but the current system, I don't believe, is actually what's going to do it. But you should start to research it and look at it. It's a very good book. I enjoyed the read of it, but also check out my crypto podcast, because we kind of simplify a lot of things, and you just, you start understanding it a bit better.
Well, actually, I believe that author Roger Ver is in prison. because of everything what he did in the world. Yeah, and there are actions, activists trying to get him out of prison. And so it's not nice. Yeah? So
Well, anytime you step above the parapet, yeah, they just take you out, like so.
That has happened to him. So I think as we speak, he's still in prison. So he's not sitting on the beach somewhere enjoying his wealth because of the Bitcoin. Now he's in prison. So to conclude on a positive note about kindness, the sign here on the lintel says kindness is free. If you have the chance to make people happy, just do it. Sometimes people are struggling silently. I would say instead of the word sometimes, use the word often. Often people are struggling silently. Maybe your act of kindness can make their day. And it can be a simple thing as holding up a door, saying good morning to someone, have a little bit of a chat, someone, say thank you. I was yesterday in a farmer's market and I bought some fruit and I say goodbye. What? Yeah. People just get their stuff paid, they're gone. Yeah. Like they don't say thank you, goodbye, have a good day. Yeah. So I said goodbye. I don't speak Romanian, but it's like, oh, thank you. Yeah. So it's like these small things we can all do, and it creates happiness on both sides, on the receiver and on the sender. Yeah. So be kind, folks. Try to do something kind today and this week, and we'll talk to you next week.
And I do that all the time. I'll always say thank you, goodbye as well. I do, and they treat you so much better the next time you're going. They remember that they like you then, and it's like you get total special treatment. I mean, I've often been in a shop. There's a shop up the road. It's like a small little shop that sell all the little things, and they nearly go out of their way to make sure that I'm not queuing up. It's strange when up there's two of them working there, just because I really respect them and I'm always thanking them. So it does make a difference. So for those that have been watching live, I'm not watching this on the stream thing. I'm doing it on Zoom and it's going to different things. So if you've been writing comments, we'll be checking that later. I don't want to be doing it as we're doing it because I can't stay focused because we connect on all the different things, all the information that I'm saying. Arnold doesn't know about it and I don't know what he's going to talk about. So we're getting our honest reactions to the topics we're doing. But if you make comments, we'd always go in and read them and check them. And thanks for listening. And you'll find everything on awakeningpodcast.org. Just scan the QR code, you'll find everything that we've discussed. Until next week, take care. So I think the live stream is still going and I don't know how to stop it there. So I just have to end the call.
Okay.